Hello and Happy New Year. It's not been the best of starts for many people this new year. Just here in Oxfordshire we've had over a foot of snow and it's been really difficult for me to get in and out of work for many days. Has it been like that for you? But guess what the subject is the minute I do go back to work? What's the one thing that people want to start talking about straight away in the new year? And that's their weight. There's no doubt that in this country we are diet obsessed. There's a new survey out today saying that most women in the UK start their mornings thinking, I hope I'm going to be good today, and end their days really sad and disappointed with themselves that they haven't been able to stick to some sort of diet. And of course at this time of year, this is when we put the most pressure on of all, because the media is full of new diets for 2010. Are you sucked in by that? I must confess, up till now, I always have been. I always start off the new year with a resolution that I'm going to start some new diet, and of course it doesn't last very long. I think it's true for most people. It certainly was true today when I did a phone-in on my radio show, and lots of people called in to say that was them, the person who has let diet dominate their life. Do you think we've become a nation totally obsessed with dieting? Certainly I think I speak to so many women who say that dieting has taken over their lives. They wake up in the morning thinking, I'm going to be good today. Do you know how many women think that first thing in the morning? And then you get to the end of the day and you're going to bed and you're thinking, I wasn't good today. I let myself down. I am a dieting failure. I'll be fat the rest of my life. I could go on. And I know there are lots of people listening right now who are probably nodding in agreement. What's it like letting dieting obsess your life? What's it like being married to somebody who's obsessed with dieting? The story hit the headlines. I'm sure it's much more complicated than the headlines would have us believe. But the marriage between former EastEnders stars Ricky Groves and Hannah Waterman has ended. And he's made it very clear that he thinks she was doing a diet and exercise regime to make a diet video. And he said it just took over their whole lives. It made her stressed out. It made her unhappy. She had panic attacks. She was physically shaking because of the stress she was under by a diet. And yet, I think we probably have all been there, or not maybe quite to that extent, but we certainly let dieting obsess us. We let it dominate our lives. And at this time of the year, you're under more pressure to diet than probably any other time. Can we stop this cycle? How do we stop this cycle for ourselves individually and certainly for us as a whole nation? Let's talk to Sue Roberts, who is a cognitive hypnotherapist. She's from Burnham, which is just north of Slough. Hi, Sue.
Hello.
Hello. Do you recognise the picture I'm painting here?
Absolutely. I would say 70% of my clients come to me with just that problem.
Well, that they've let dieting completely dominate their lives.
They've let the need to be thin completely dominate their life, yes, and it makes them miserable, really miserable.
And dieting, I suppose there is an enormous diet industry. It's multi-million pounds, isn't it?
Yes.
And so I can't help it but think it's peddling this belief that we can just buy a diet off the shelf and it's going to cure all our problems.
Well, absolutely. And it's probably fueling the myth that being thin is going to put you back in control of your life. People tend to believe if I'm thin, that means, it means I'm going to get a better job, a better relationship, people will like me. But actually the opposite becomes true. And what actually happens is the diet takes over and you feel in less control. So then you go for another diet because you think the diet that you just did was the problem.
Yes.
When actually it's how you're feeling about yourself. And if you can fix that, then you can start to reframe your life.
So, I mean, as I was saying, I think it's all of us as a society should be buying into this. But given that our society isn't, there are still adverts for diets. There are diet videos. I mean, heck, the actress I was just talking about there, Hannah Waterman, was making a diet video, and it was making her unhappy. We've got a society that's buying into this. So, as an individual, if you're going to be sensible and say, right, I'm not going to buy into this anymore this year,
How do you do that? Because doesn't that mean that you're literally sort of swimming against the tide?
Well, I would say that a lot of people would be with you. It's just about being honest about how you feel about yourself and what you're trying to achieve. And I think the most important thing is to begin with being kind to yourself. If you try to make major changes in your life, you'll probably fail. Most of your listeners lead very busy lives, particularly in the southeast. And to try to go to the gym or do a really restrictive diet is a major change in their lives. So if you go
it's being hard on yourself.
Absolutely. If you go for small wins, do something like have a smaller portion on a Monday. Another one is go for a walk on a Saturday or a Sunday. Get used to that, enjoy it, build on your success, and then take the next step.
So baby steps.
Absolutely baby steps, and build on your success. And another way really is to begin to value what you actually have in life rather than what you don't have. So everybody wants to go after thinness because thinness means wonderful things, even though we know it doesn't. So go for having an idea in your life every single day. What is it that I need to be grateful for today? And write it down and focus on what you have.
Well, what you're talking about, though, is sort of psychiatry rather than dieting, isn't it?
Well, I'm not a psychiatrist.
But you know what I mean? You're talking about the mind rather than the body.
Very much so, because basically people have an emotional attachment to food. And if you can break that emotional attachment, then you will get success, because food triggers emotions like love, like comfort, safety, and it's a vicious circle.
And deprivation and disappointment.
Oh, and deprivation just isn't motivating. Is it really?
No, absolutely. And what a way to start the new year. Sue, thank you very much for some very wise words at the beginning of this big, big subject. Actually, I was saying there that Sue concentrated very much, or was concentrating very much more on the mind than the body. But there are other ways. I suppose you can concentrate more on the body than the mind and fix it the other way around. Let's talk to somebody who's done just that. Michelle from Bracknell. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Good morning.
Now, you and I know each other.
We do.
Don't we? We've our paths have crossed because we both had gastric surgery.
That's correct, yes we have.
Now, what have you had?
I had a gastric band back in 2004 and then had a part gastric bypass back in 2007. So I've got both a band and a bypass.
My goodness. And it's worked, because I've seen pictures of you recently and you look you're slim and gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Not that you weren't gorgeous before, I think. And that's an important thing to say, because just not being, you don't have to be slim to be gorgeous.
No.
But it was what you wanted. So in a way, you did almost the opposite from what Sue was saying. You treated the body with surgery, which some people would consider drastic, but that's the way you did it.
I did. It is drastic, but I tried every single diet and did the yo-yo dieting thing, and I really couldn't put my body through it anymore, so I did take the option to have surgery.
Do you recognise this picture I was painting earlier of women, particularly women, but it happens, we know, with men as well, but particularly women who let dieting dominate their entire lives?
Absolutely. I used to wake up every single morning and wonder what diet I was on that day, and it changed day by day, week by week, and used to go from one swimming club to another on a weekly basis, and it's miserable. It's absolutely an awful thing to do to yourself.
What age did you start doing that to yourself?
I was 13, actually, when I went to my first swimming club, because I had food issues from a very early age. So I did.
So from the age of 13, your weight and dieting has been an everyday thing?
Yeah,
it's
20 years.
20 years. And when you look at it, do you think, what a waste?
I do think what a waste, because I could have done something sooner, but didn't obviously know about what was out there at the time.
And you work now with a lot of women and men who need to do something about their weight. Would you agree that, again, they have let dieting obsess their lives?
Absolutely.